Now, there are a couple of you out there who've been asking me, Dennis, I want to start up a goat farm, but I don't have much money. What do I do? Today we've met a young yet very enterprising farmer. He is in Uganda, a certain village here in Mukono district. I've driven roughly around 60 kilometers to come and meet this gentleman. His name is Julius Caesar. How are you today?
Good, good.
I'm glad you're hosting us on your farm.
Thank you for coming.
How is goat farming, just briefly, somebody who is watching us right now?
Goat farming is good because it's a business that doesn't require you to have so much to begin.
Okay.
And you can realize profits very soon if you do it right.
Perfect. Now, the biggest discussion we're going to have is how to start small and grow big to the level that you aspire, to the level that you want to attain. See you in a bit. Please don't forget to follow his YouTube channel, the Lakeside Farms. Type or search on YouTube Lakeside Farms. If you don't see it, go into the comment section. I've pinned that comment that has his YouTube channel, a link to his YouTube channel, but also his contacts, just in case you've admired his work and you want to talk to him. So Julius Caesar has been doing goat farming for quite some time now. Okay, not a very long time. How many years now?
3 years now.
3 years now.
Yeah.
And he has attained a certain level that he didn't start with. Now we want to know, Julius, should I have millions to start goat farming?
No.
Okay.
The only thing that will require you to have millions is land.
Okay.
But if you have land available, you don't require millions to start goat farming.
If I don't have land, how best can I get land?
I will advise you, if you have money to buy, look for land not so close to town, because if you're going to find land so close to town, that is going to be very expensive. So if you're going to buy land, look for land where it is cheaper. Here we used to buy an acre at 15 million, but right now it has gone up to 60 million in a period of just 3 years. So you see, land can be good anywhere you find it. So if you don't have money to buy land, you can hire land. Lots of people have land which they have not developed yet. So you can find some of those people and hire land. And then in the process of you having that land and growing your farm, you can also be looking, and it helps you to actually know more people. But I'll tell you one thing, if you want to have good land anywhere, for me this is like my principle, is making relationships. When you create relationships around anywhere you go, you will find land easily, because the people you've made your friends know where cheap land is. They know who is selling and who is not selling. They know who is not going to rip you off. They know who is not going to steal from you, because land is a lucrative business right now, and many people can take advantage of you and take your money without even giving you the exact land that you think you're paying for. So that's about land. You can hire, you can buy, but if it's not about land, you can actually start goat farming. We started with 10 goats, and we started with pure locals, no crossbreeds, none whatsoever. So we started with those 10. Lots of challenges have been here, but at least we've managed to get somewhere, because we were willing to put in the hard work. We were looking at other farmers who advised us here and there. And from the 10 goats, as Duke will be showing you, we've multiplied goats. We have something we can look at. And of course, we've sold some, we've slaughtered some, but still the farm is growing. So what you basically need is land. If you have land, the rest won't be so expensive. And I've realized that many people fear starting with local goats, but this is something that scares so many farmers. People are afraid of starting with local goats, but even when you start with local goats, it is good enough, because we started with 10 local goats, like I told you, and those 10 local goats were here for a period of, until now, we still have most of our 10 local goats we started with. They've given birth, we've sold off some, we've slaughtered some, but they're still here. But the key principle is start.
With whatever you have.
With whatever you have.
Okay.
When it comes to housing, if you are in a village like us, don't look farther than anywhere. well, the goat pen you see here that we have, all the materials came from this community. The tree offcuts, the poles, and we built a raised house. But all the material came from this community. We were looking for people who had trees to cut. We looked for people who had offcuts. We looked for people who had these Misambia poles. And they are solid trees. And we built. And the pen cost us about, minus the roofing, it cost us about 500,000.
Wow.
For the whole pen. But then if we include the roofing, the roof alone cost about 800,000.
Okay.
Yeah, because of the iron sheets. Well, they were a bit cheaper but then.
So that's roughly at most 1.5 million.
Yeah.
What about this other one that we are seeing in the background?
Now this is basically mainly for the males because we did not want to have inbreeding. So whatever male that gets of age, goats can start mating. They can serve at 4 months.
Yes.
So when they get to 3.5, 4 months, we put them in this one. Yeah, this can hold about 10 of them because we can keep like two in all, three in each.
Okay.
They are about 4 segments.
Paddocks.
Yeah, they have about 4 paddocks, and each can hold at least 4.
Okay.
So yeah, this one cost us about 500,000.
Okay.
That's including the poles, the wire mesh, and the iron sheets. Yeah, and if you want to start, you have to get involved.
What do you mean you have to get involved?
What I mean by you have to get involved is don't leave everything to be done by the money. Because money itself can be a limitation. Sometimes you don't have the money.
Okay.
And you need to build. So what can you do in that case? What we did for us, we bought the poles, we bought the iron sheets, we bought the wire mesh, we bought all the timber we needed. So together with my worker, the person who helps us here, we dug holes, we built that thing by ourselves, with our own hands. It doesn't look so smart, but who cares?
As long as
a goat will not tell you that my house does not look good. The rain does not rain on them. It's well raised, so all their dung goes through, all the urine goes through, and it's kept clean. So there is no complaint there. And even if the goats wanted to complain, at least it's clean. They wouldn't complain. So you have to get involved. We built that thing by ourselves. We nailed everything. But also, what I can add on to that is visit people who are keeping goats.
Okay.
Several people, not one, not two, because you may visit people and they have the same product and you wouldn't know what else is there. But when you visit several people, you will be able to see and you'll be able to know what exactly is meant when you're going to build a goat pen. This kind of pen, like where our males stay, we saw it from a guy who sold us some goats. Actually, he sold me the Boer male that I have. That guy has over 500 goats, but his building is so basic. Basically, that's how he builds. As long as he puts where they can feed from, the rest of the setting is just so basic. So visit people and borrow ideas from there. Borrow what will work for you. Of course, not everything will work for you when you visit them, but borrow ideas and pick only what will work for you. So we built this thing. It's very good for the goats. They eat from in there. They sleep in there. It's clean. We try to keep it clean, and it's strong.
Okay.
At least it will take us for another 2 years before we have to repair it.
Okay.
So yeah.
When you say everybody needs to start small, how small are we talking about? 1 goat, 2 goats, 3 goats? What sort of capital should somebody have? At least to say, I've also started small.
If I'm going to eliminate the cost of land,
yes.
If you have 3 million shillings, you can start goat farming. Because from the 3 million shillings, you will say the 1.5 is for building a pen and fencing off. That's 1.5. Or even let's say 2 million. Fencing off their exercising yard and building a pen. 2 million shillings can do. Only that maybe the prices for iron sheets and nails have gone a little bit higher. But if we put that in consideration, then let's say you need 4 million. So you say 3 million is for basically constructing and fencing off. Then the 1 million, if you're going to start small, I'll say go buy yourself local goats. Buy those ones that are at the youthful age, about 4 to 6 months. Then if you know you bought 4 to 6 months, in a period of 8, let's say you buy them at 6 months, if they go up to 9 months, they are ready to conceive. So that's when you need now to look and see where you can get more money. If you can get another 1 million in that period and buy either a crossbreed or a good male from any of those farmers. There are so many farmers. Duke here can tell you where to buy those. He knows where people who are selling those goats.
Yes.
You just get that male, as long as it's a good breed. Put it with the females. When those females conceive, even the crossbreeds they give you will be good goats.
Okay.
So at a cost of 4 million, you can start a goat farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you mention the number of goats somebody can start with that 1 million?
You can buy a local goat, depending on where you're buying it from, not considering the cost of transport. You can buy a local goat at 150,000. That's a mature one.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's roughly 1 million. That could give you around 6.
Yes.
Roughly 6 goats.
Yeah, let's say
I don't
6
know.
goats.
Yes.
Or you can even get them at 100,000. Those that are about 6 months.
5-6 months.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can get 10 goats with 1 million.
Okay.
At 100.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, the cost of transport comes in if you are buying them from very far. But if you're buying them from
within the
close
area,
to you, yeah.
You just bring them to the farm.
Yeah.
Okay. So after somebody has gotten the animals onto the farm, let's go to the management. So what next? I just put them there and they take care of themselves. What next?
That depends on what kind of system you're going to run. If you're running zero grazing, it's a little bit easier on management than free range. There are so many people out there looking to take some goats. And besides, even if it's your own land, you have neighbors. You don't want to be in trouble with your neighbors. When your goats stray off and go eat people's things, and then you are getting into problems. Then also is, for example, for us here, we are close to the lake. And you know, it's not good for the goats to drink water from the lake. It has liver flukes, what and what. So you have to put a limit to where they go. Follow them. So even if you are going to do free range, you have to have someone managing these goats. That's why you need to look for someone before you actually bring both goats over. If you're not going to be there yourself. If you're going to be there yourself, it's easy to control. You can take your goats out to eat and then come back with them. But if you're not going to be here, like for us, we are never here. We are only here a few times. So you have to get someone that you trust. But I've always told people that when you're getting someone, the management, someone to look after your animals, you need someone who's creative. Goat farming is not just farming just for. You need someone who's creative, someone who knows how a goat gives birth, how can I help a goat when it's giving birth, someone who knows if there is no grass, where can I find grass, if there is no water, where can I find water, when do they need water, what time do they need to get out to go and eat, what time do they come back, when should I put them inside to sleep, because you know, goats are not actually inside animals. They only go inside when it's raining or when it's dark. If you force them to go inside, that's when they will fight and even make themselves lose their babies. So management is very key, depending on the kind of system you choose. For zero grazing, you have to be prepared with already what they will feed on, planted, or have to know the source of food, where your food is going to come from. Otherwise, if you're doing zero grazing and you're not prepared with food, you're going to face a lot of challenges. Here we faced that kind of challenge when we brought our 10 goats. We hadn't planted grass.
Okay.
And we suffered here looking for grass. By then we didn't know so many people, but eventually we started making, like I told you, we make relationships. So we made relationships. People allowed us to graze on their areas.
Okay.
And they also allowed us to start cutting grass and bringing it.
Okay.
Initially, we were on purely zero grazing, but we had to leave it out because we're getting nutritional challenges.
So now that you had nutritional challenges, let's advise somebody out there who wants to go into goat farming, but on a zero grazing basis. What sort of grasses or pastures should they prepare first before they can actually bring the goats onto their farm?
There are many types of grasses, but there are those that are basically for keep goats going. For example, napier, you need napier. Like to keep their bellies filled, you need napier because it grows. You plant a few stems and it grows so much. You have a lot you can feed the goats, but it has very little nutritional value. And then you can plant maize. Maize also, if you do silage, and this also, even maize doesn't have a lot of nutritional value, but when you let it grow and the combs come to a milky stage, and you cut it and make silage, it has some protein and carbohydrates. But napier usually has just carbohydrates. So you can plant napier and maize and make silage before you stock goats. Okay. But the best grasses I know is Chloris Guyana and alfalfa.
Okay.
Those grasses have a lot of proteins, and those grasses can help you on the other side of the nutrition of the goat. So if you have napier, you have alfalfa, and you have Chloris, you are sorted. Yeah.
Okay. So that's how you can start small and grow big, just like Mr. Julius Caesar has said. Please don't forget to follow his YouTube channel, the Lakeside Farms. Type or search on YouTube Lakeside Farms. If you don't see it, go into the comment section. I've pinned that comment that has his YouTube channel, a link to his YouTube channel, but also his contacts, just in case you've admired his work and you want to talk to him. He's a married man, by the way. I just needed to make that very clear so that you don't mess up his marriage life. You don't call late in the night. Me, even at 1 or 2 a.m. the night, I receive calls. But I think my woman has gotten used to this, so she doesn't get mad. I would have lost her a long time ago. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, it's a goodbye. We love you. Please don't forget to subscribe.